Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, July 14th, 2022. I'm Keith Tebow. Residents in Fall River may soon be in line for cash rebates and tax relief from the state. The city's Disability Commission is supporting a bill to help those seeking repairs to wheelchairs. And we look at the 2022 state primary election ballot and ways the state is making it easier to vote. All this and more coming up. With inflation remaining at 40-year highs, the state legislature is working on a proposal worth over $1 billion to provide cash rebates and long-term tax relief to many residents as early as this fall. Fall River State Representative Carol Fiola says the most immediate impact for taxpayers will be rebates that, if approved, could be issued by the end of September.
A one-time rebate of $250 that will just automatically come to them by, I believe, September 30th of this year. And if $250 for a taxpayer and who has a minimum of $38,000 in earnings and a maximum individual of $100. So it's a wide swath of income. And then if you are joint tax filers in a family, let's say spouses, and you can make up to 150 combined, and you'll each get 250, so for a maximum of 500. Those will automatically come because those were based on the 2021 tax filings. And so that's one piece, enough to just say, hey, everybody wanted to save at the tank, the gas or their electric bill or their gas bill. Some people drive, some people don't. Some people have heat or gas, some people have oil. So this is a way to say, here's some relief. Do with it as you feel you need to.
Fiola says a package of targeted long-term tax relief is also up for debate. Among the items that will impact Fall River residents are tax credits for child care. Currently, state credits equal $180 per child per year with a cap of $360. The new language will allow for more credit per child with no other restrictions.
There's no cap. It's so much per child, $310 per child, and no cap. So we've upped it and said there's no cap. If you've got children and they're in childcare because you're working and you need to get to work, that is one of the number one complaints we've heard. Childcare is exorbitant. If you haven't had childcare in 10, 20, 30 years, you wouldn't believe it. I'm a new grandmother. My grandchild's in childcare. It's expensive. So people do evaluate, do I go back to work or do I pay for that childcare or stay home?
Other tax breaks, which were recommended by Governor Charlie Baker earlier this year, include increasing the earned income tax credit for low-income workers and allowing a greater tax deduction for renters from $3,000 per year to $4,000. If passed, the tax relief measures will go into effect in January, and taxpayers will be able to claim those credits on their 2023 tax returns in 2024. The Fall River Commission on Disability is seeking support for the passage of a bill in the state legislature that will clarify the responsibility of manufacturers in ensuring swift action for those needing repairs to wheelchairs. Commission Chairperson Dennis Polselli says the bill seeking wheelchair warranty protections for consumers with disabilities will set clear guidelines as to how wheelchair manufacturers must respond to requests for repair.
The bill allows for 3 days response on the part of the company from when you reported that you were having issues with your wheelchair. And within 4 days, they have to provide you a loan. They have to loan you a wheelchair until the repair has been completed and you've gotten your wheelchair back originally. And in addition to that, if the repairs were minor, say a change of tire or something like that, you could go to your local bike shop and get it repaired instead of waiting for the company to do it.
Mr. Polselli says the limited number of wheelchair manufacturers has made it difficult to seek help for those in need.
There's only several companies that do this, and the companies kind of had a monopoly. So you couldn't go to a local bike company, for example, for tires. If it was the tires on your wheelchair, you had to wait for only that company. So that company took time. It took anywhere from a month. It could take a couple of months, it could take a couple of weeks maybe, but the most part, it was at least 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe even 2 to 3 months before you got your wheelchair back. And they weren't loaning you a wheelchair.
The bill is currently before the state Senate in the Committee on Ways and Means, chaired by Senator Michael Rodrigues.
I would appreciate if people can just contact Senator Rodrigues' office. If you have family relatives or friends who are wheelchair users, if they could just contact Senator Rodrigues' office and give them some examples of why this bill would be important for them. It's always helpful to give a kind of a personal story. That helps a lot. But if they can contact Senator Rodrigues' office, that would be great. I just know that having relatives in my family and having been an employer in the past, I just knew that I'm sure there'd be a significant amount of constituents in Fall River with disabilities who would be wheelchair users and would want us to support this.
Diamond Regional Vocational Technical High School Superintendent Director Dr. Elvio Ferreira has announced he's resigning after 13 years at the school, the last 3 as superintendent. Dr. Ferreira says being superintendent at Diamond was a fantastic opportunity and a place where he learned to embrace and advocate for the importance of technical education. But moving forward, he says his heart was not totally invested in continuing to serve in senior level administration.
My passion has been to really be around students and to be around direct instruction, curriculum, and being superintendent, central office staff, you kind of get away from that on a day-to-day basis. So in my heart of hearts, I knew where I belonged, and that really is around kids and around instruction. This is a very special place. I mean, I learned a lot in my 13 years here, made some tremendous friendships, lifelong folks, and relationships that I'm going to carry with me, connections, and it's been a great run for me here, and I appreciate all of the past administrators that gave me the opportunity to start as the Dean of Students and kind of work my way through all the way to superintendent. So it was not an easy decision by any stretch, but again, when you wake up and you feel that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing per se, it makes it difficult to kind of get through, and that really was the catalyst to start the whole process.
In his 13 years at the school, Dr. Ferreira lists many accomplishments. Top on the list is securing financing and community support for the construction of a new diamond set for groundbreaking in the spring of 2023. Knowing
that we have all the community votes and the approval of the state to move that forward, that's a big one. As the academic coordinator, bringing in AP was a big step for us. We didn't have AP prior to 2011-ish. And just advancing the honors program. We had honors in grades 11 and 12, but we didn't have really a lot of honors classes or a diverse offering of honors classes in grades 9 and 10. So that was a big change and something I pushed when I was in that position. On the technical side, expansion. I mean, we were able to bring in programming and web development, medical assisting, so we went from 16 to 18 programs. The evening school program has expanded. The LPN program has expanded. So those are some big things that over the past 13 years really ring out. We've done so much with inclusion, different learning styles, co-teaching. There's so much that really has happened over the past 13 years that looking back, I'm proud to have been part of a lot of those initiatives. Per his contract with the school, Dr. Ferreira will continue to serve as superintendent until the end of September. The school committee will meet soon to begin to devise a plan to find Dr. Ferreira's successor. The city of Fall River last week officially installed Paul Coogan as the city's 16th police chief and also swore in 2 other officers at a promotional ceremony at Government Center. Along with Chief Coogan, Barden Castro was sworn in as deputy chief and David Murphy was sworn in as captain.
Following the installation, Chief Garvin thanked Mayor Paul Coogan for his appointment and said he will use over 25 years of experience in the Fall River Police Department to guide the department moving forward.
As we all know, the past few years, the Fall River Police Department has seen its share of challenges. But I didn't take this position to dwell on the past. I firmly believe that you can't get to where you want to go to by looking in the rearview mirror. I grew up in this city. I'm a lifelong resident. I grew up in the South End, and I always knew that I wanted to be a police officer. I take on this position at an interesting time for this department. It's quite possibly the youngest we have ever been. But I believe if you treat these new officers fairly, train them properly, indoctrinate them into a healthy, hardworking culture, then it's conceivable that we will have one of the best police departments in the foreseeable future. Moving forward, there are still some matters from the past that need to be dealt with. Despite inheriting some unresolved issues, I am determined to prove to this community that this department is certainly something to be proud of.
The Fall River City Council will soon hold a meeting to discuss asking the Coogan administration to allocate $20 million of American Rescue Plan Act money towards city water and sewer projects with the goal of stabilizing water and sewer rates. Mayor Coogan says he's willing to hear the council's proposal, although the city has already made a significant investment in these projects.
Right now, we have I think it's almost $22 million in grant requests that would go to water and sewer projects across the city. We've already given them $9 million. We made a promise for an additional $4 million. I'm waiting to see what the council does with their request for $11 million. I think right now, obviously water is a big factor in Fall River. At the same time, we pay for water, and our rates go up every year. So again, anything we can do to help the ratepayers is not a bad thing. But at the same time, there's a lot of needs in the city of Fall River. There's a lot of other things we could be working on. We have obviously public safety issues, DCM issues, infrastructure, roads, sidewalks. These are all things people look at too. I mean, we obviously have a good renovation plan going in our parks right now, but there are things the city needs in addition to water, and water is obviously right at the top of the list. So
when Paul Coogan ran for mayor in 2019, his intention was to stabilize the city following the controversial administration of Jaziel Correa. At that time, he said that likely meant serving only 2 terms in office. 6 months into his second term, the mayor may be reconsidering that decision. As a follow-up to remarks he made first on WSAR, the mayor says he has not made up his mind as to whether he will run for a 3rd term, but as of now, nothing is off the table.
people in Fall River are funny. I'm 6 months into my second term, and they're all concerned about what's going to happen next year. I mean, I'm here every day working on things that have to be done today or this week or next week. So it's kind of different for me. I never planned that long when I was in education. You know, I'd be in the middle of the junior year for the kids, and I wouldn't be thinking, what are we going to do when they're seniors? It was get through the junior year. And so I look at it that way. We have a really good relationship going with the city council right now, the state legislature. Our congressman's a phone call away. We just have built a number of very positive relationships, which seem to be paying off for the city of Fall River right now. I mean, what the future holds, we'll find out together. But at the same time, we're really doing a lot of good things in this city, and we're going forward with some massive plans, whether it's Route 79, our school system, our public safety. So we're going to be fine. We just have to keep working together.
The mayor says he's humbled by the positive comments he and his wife have received from residents as he attends public events. He says there's more work to be done in the city, and he hopes to make, quote, the right decision at the right time regarding his political future. Here's an update now on the latest COVID-19 numbers in Fall River based on a report released last Thursday, July 7th. 99 cases of the virus were reported last week, up from 126 the week prior. Fall River now has 31,458 total cases of the virus since the onset of the pandemic. Vaccination rates remain flat, 71% of city residents having received at least one dose of the vaccine. 63% considered fully vaccinated, but only 28% of all city residents have received a COVID-19 booster. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here's some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Emergency Medical Responder. Alert Ambulance Service, located at 1290 Wilson Road, is looking for a full-time emergency medical responder, responsible for the safe and efficient response and transport of the EMS provider in all persons requiring non-emergent medical services. Job number 172-24775. Wastewater Project Engineer. Natural Systems Utilities, located at 21 Father de Valles Boulevard, seeks a full-time wastewater project engineer, responsible for performing engineering tasks and activities on assigned water resources projects. Job number 172-05749. Health Teacher. Argosy Collegiate Charter Middle School, located at 263 Hamlet Street, is seeking a full-time health teacher to develop and work with students to determine health needs, create programs for promoting health and wellness, and share lessons on health risk prevention. Job number 172-24550. Pipe Burner. Taco Comfort Solutions, located at 583 Bedford Street, is looking for a full-time pipe burner. For more information, call 508-675-7300. Amazon, located at 1180 Innovation Way, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Warehouse Operator, job number 172-25058. Seasonal Delivery Driver, job number 172-24895. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. We're about a month and a half away from the 2022 state primary. The ballots for both the Democratic and Republican nominations are set. Here is what Fall River voters can expect to see when they go to the polls on primary day, September 6th. In the Democratic primary, there are two candidates running for governor to succeed Governor Charlie Baker. They are Sonia Rosa Chang Diaz and current Attorney General Maura Healey. Chang Diaz has dropped out of the race, however, her name will still appear on the ballot. Three candidates are running for Lieutenant Governor: Kimberly Driscoll, Tammy Gouveia, and Eric Lesser. There are three candidates running to succeed Healey as Attorney General on the Democratic side: Andrea Joy Campbell, Shannon Erica Liss Reardon, and Quentin Palfrey. Secretary of State Bill Galvin is seeking another term in office, and he's going to be challenged in the primary by Tanisha Sullivan. Deb Goldberg is running unopposed for treasurer. There are two candidates running to replace Suzanne Bump as auditor. They are Christopher Dempsey and Diana DeZoglio. Congressman Jake Auchincloss is running unopposed this year, as is Governor's Counselor Joseph Ferreira. Fall River's state legislative delegation also running unopposed in the primary: State Senator Michael Rodrigues, 6th District Representative Carol Fiola, 7th District Representative Alan Sylvia, and 8th District Representative Paul Schmid. District Attorney Tom Quinn is seeking re-election, and he's being challenged by Shannon McMahon. In the race for sheriff, there are three Democratic candidates looking to challenge incumbent Thomas Hodgson in November. They are Nicholas Bernier, Attleboro Mayor Paul Heroux, and George McNeil. In the race for county commissioner, John Saunders is running unopposed. In the Republican primary, there are two candidates looking to succeed Governor Baker: Jeff Deal and Chris Doughty. Two candidates are running for Lieutenant Governor: Leah Allen and Kate Campanale. For the Secretary of State race, Rhea Campbell is running on the Republican side. There are no candidates running for treasurer, while Anthony Amore is looking to succeed Suzanne Bump as auditor. There are no candidates running in the 4th District congressional race or the governor's counselor race on the Republican side. In the race for state senator, Russell Protentis will be challenging incumbent Michael Rodrigues. There are no candidates in the 6th District Representative or 7th District Representative races, while Evan Gendro will run again on the Republican side to challenge Paul Schmid in November. There are no Republican challenges for District Attorney. Sheriff Tom Hodgson is seeking another term, and there will be no challengers on the Republican side for County Commissioner. Voters in Fall River and across the Commonwealth will now permanently benefit from COVID-era rules for voting that allowed voters to vote early and by mail. The legislature this spring passed the Votes Act, which allows voters in state and presidential elections a wider opportunity to vote. The rules do not apply to local municipal elections. In the coming weeks, all registered voters in Massachusetts will receive an application that will allow them to receive a ballot by mail for both the September 6th primary and the November 8th state election. The application for the no excuse ballot must be returned by August 29th, and completed ballots must be returned to local election offices by 8 p.m. on Election Day. The law also calls for expanded early voting, 1 week prior to the state primary and 2 weeks prior to the state election. In 2020, early voting in Fall River was held within the atrium at Government Center. Fall River State Representative Carol Fiola says the new law will allow any eligible voter expanded opportunities to cast a ballot.
We want people to vote, and people, turnout can be very low. And the idea is for people to be able to express their right. And you're working, you might be sick, you might be out of town, there may be a lot of reasons. And so we want to ensure that if you want to vote, you have ample opportunity, period. You have an opportunity to do it. And we saw with the pandemic, and it worked. And yes, there was controversy, but I think that was a result of personality and we don't have to go back there, but we know that to this date, with all of the auditing and the review that went in different states, nothing has been proven to be an issue.
We will wrap up this edition of FRC Media News right after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Who we have here is Morris. He is a year-old black cat. As you can see, he is a little bald around his legs or inner thigh, belly, and his front legs. The reason why he is so bald is because he is over-grooming himself. It's not a medical condition. It's not something to really worry about. We're still trying to figure out why he's doing it. It's probably because of the stress of being in here. Morris is a really good cat, loves to chill out, hang out with people. He's couch potato. He would do good in a home with other cats. He did live with other cats. He was surrendered to us. If you would like to meet Morris, you can come down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter. You can go to our website, foreverpaws.com, click the adoption tab, and you'll find the form there.
And today we have little Endora. Endora is a 4-year-old Chihuahua mix. She's a cute little thing. She loves being cuddled and being in somebody's lap. She is a stray from the local area. She does pull a little bit on the leash, but nothing that we can't train out a little bit. She'll eat out of your hand. She will let you touch her. She's a good girl as far as all that. We would just recommend no children for her at the time just because of how small she is and kind of how scared she can be. So if you'd like to come down and meet Endora, you can come to Forever Paws Animal Shelter and look at her. We recommend that you go on our website. So come on down and meet little Endora because she would love to meet you.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website at frmedia.org for all the latest news and local information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you next Thursday.